Graduands, guests and colleagues, my name is Mary Haworth, and it is both an honour and a privilege to stand before you today and welcome you to this January 2021 virtual graduation ceremony. As graduates, you will join an international community of over 123,000 York alumni in 183 countries. The York Global Alumni Association organises many events, networks and services that are designed to help you make connections with other alumni across the world and boost your career prospects. As you get your first job or take up further study or training, please remember to keep us in touch with what you're doing. Understanding the career paths that you take will help us to provide the right support for current students and make sure we offer graduates like you relevant information and opportunities. Today is a very special day for all of you. Graduation is a milestone, but today is not the graduation any of us had quite envisaged, and we look forward to being able to welcome you all back to campus for a celebration as soon as it is safe to do so. So our virtual ceremony is different, but we hope that you will find lots to appreciate in this next hour or so, and a few surprises along the way. So please do stay with us. We very much hope that you're enjoying your day with your family, friends, and the supporters who have been part of this remarkable journey that you've all taken. We'd love to hear how you're all celebrating today. So please use the hashtag UOYGraduation on social media to share your stories and thank your friends and supporters. And do take a moment to raise a glass to your achievements. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Professor Sir Malcolm Grant, University Chancellor, who will declare the congregation open for the conferment of awards.
Good afternoon, everybody, and on behalf of the University of York, a warm welcome to you wherever you may be across the world today, to this, the third of our January graduation ceremonies, in which we reflect and we award achievement in the sciences. It's not like our usual graduation ceremonies. We would normally be crowded into Central Hall. There would be music, there would be laughter, there would be hugs, there would be cheers, there would be tears. We would be wearing formal academic dress. And that's got a purpose. That's to reflect the seriousness of the occasion. Yes, it's a celebration because we're reflecting and we're conferring degrees which reflect the achievements of our graduating year. But it's also a formal ceremony in which those of you who started today as graduands of the university, that is, you've satisfied all the requirements, by the end of this ceremony are graduates, and well, not just graduates, but graduates of the fantastic University of York. So on that note, warm congratulations. So today's ceremony relates to the various departments in the Faculty of Sciences, and what a remarkable array they are. Remember, I look at the list and reflect upon our societal experiences of the past year. We realise how critically important are the sciences, along with the social sciences and along with the arts and humanities, because universities bring together this great array of disciplinary expertise, of teaching, of research. We are awarding today research degrees as well as taught degrees, and that hegemony of knowledge that brings together everything that a university reflects, because only universities can do this. We have both the opportunity and the responsibility to help humanity face challenges such as this ghastly pandemic. So today, let it be an opportunity for celebration wherever you are and for reflection. It's a rite of passage, but it's also not the severing of the cord of relationship between you and this university. I want you to know that our thoughts are with you and your families today, that you are welcome at any time back onto the campus, and that we want to follow with pride your achievements, and we hope that we will instill in you the pride also to follow the future achievements of this great university. Congratulations to you from us all. It gives me great pleasure to declare this congregation open for the conferment of awards.
Thank you, Chancellor. Welcome. My name is Brian Fulton and I'm Dean of the Faculty of Sciences. It's a pleasure to be here with you to mark this very special occasion of the graduation of a new cohort of York students. It is afternoon here in York, but morning or evening for the many of you who are joining from around the world. To our graduands, this is a time when family and friends can gather with you to recognise what you have achieved in your degree programmes. And while this graduation ceremony may differ from the traditional event, their pride in you is no less. Graduation is also a time that we as academics enjoy, seeing those young people who joined us some years back now leaving York to make their contribution to society. Keep in touch with us. We are always interested to hear how you get on. On behalf of the Faculty of Sciences, Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates. Doctor of Philosophy in Adapting to the Challenges of a Changing Environment. Doctor of Philosophy in Biology. Master of Science by Research in Biology. Master of Science in Biodiversity, Ecology and Ecosystems. Master of Science in Industrial Biotechnology. Master of Science in Molecular Medicine. Master of Biology in Molecular Cell Biology. Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry. Bachelor of Science in Biology. Bachelor of Science in Biology with a year in industry. Bachelor of Science in Molecular Cell Biology. Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry. Master of Science in Green Chemistry and Sustainable Industrial Technology. Bachelor of Science in Chemistry with a year in industry. Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science. Master of Science in Advanced Computer Science. Master of Science in Cybersecurity. Master of Science in Human-Centered Interactive Technologies. Master of Science in Safety Critical Systems Engineering. Master of Engineering in Computer Science. Master of Engineering in Computer Science with Artificial Intelligence. Postgraduate Diploma in Safety Critical Systems Engineering. Postgraduate Certificate in Computer Science with Cybersecurity. Postgraduate Certificate in Computer Science with Data Analytics. Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science. Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science with a year in industry. Doctor of Philosophy in Electronic Engineering. Master of Philosophy in Electronic Engineering. Master of Science in Audio and Music Technology. Master of Science in Communications Engineering. Master of Science in Digital Systems Engineering. Master of Science in Embedded Wireless Systems. Master of Science in Engineering Management. Master of Science in Intelligent Robotics. Master of Engineering in Electronic and Computer Engineering. Postgraduate Certificate in Intelligent Robotics. Bachelor of Engineering in Electronic and Communications Engineering. Bachelor of Engineering in Electronic Engineering. Bachelor of Engineering in Electronic Engineering with Foundation Year. Bachelor of Engineering in Electronic Engineering with Business Management with a year in Industry. Bachelor of Engineering in Electronic Engineering with Music Technology Systems. Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics. Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Science. Master of Science in Corporate Sustainability and Environmental Management. Master of Science in Environmental Economics and Environmental Management. Master of Science in Environmental Science and Management. Master of Science in Marine Environmental Management. Master of Environment in Environmental Science. Bachelor of Science in Environmental Geography. Bachelor of Science in Environment, Economics and Ecology.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ensemble Anonimi will perform their arrangement of In My Life by the Beatles.
There are places I remember my life, though some have changed.
Some forever, not for better, and some have gone, and some remain.
All these places have their moments with lovers and friends, I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life I love them all. But of all the
and these memories lose their meaning
when I think of love as something new.
Though I know I'll never ever lose affection for people and things that went before,
I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life I love you more. Though I know I'll never ever lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life I'll love you.
I love you, I love you,
I love you.
Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates. Doctor of Philosophy in Health Sciences. Doctor of Philosophy by Publication in Health Sciences. Master of Public Health in Masters of Public Health. Master of Science in Advanced Clinical Practice. Master of Science in Applied Health Research. Master of Science in International Humanitarian Affairs. Postgraduate Certificates in Advanced Clinical Practice. Postgraduate Certificate in Health Research and Statistics. Bachelor of Arts in Midwifery Practice. Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Adult. Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Child. Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Learning Disability. Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Mental Health. Bachelor of Science. Doctor of Medicine in Medical Sciences. Master of Science in Health Professions Education. Master of Science in Human Anatomy and Evolution. Postgraduate Certificate in Health Professions Education. Doctor of Philosophy in Mathematics. Master of Science in Financial Engineering. Master of Science in Mathematical Finance. Master of Science in Mathematical Sciences. Master of Science in Statistics and Computational Finance. Master of Mathematics in Mathematics and Physics. Postgraduate Certificate in Statistics and Computational Finance. Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Mathematics. Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Finance. Doctor of Philosophy in Physics. Doctor of Philosophy in Plasma Science and Fusion Energy. Master of Science by Research in Physics. Master of Science in Fusion Energy. Master of Physics in Physics with Astrophysics. Master of Physics in Theoretical Physics. Bachelor of Science in Physics. Bachelor of Science in Theoretical Physics. Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology. Master of Research in Psychology. Master of Science in Cognitive Neuroscience. Master of Science in Developmental Cognitive Neuroscience. Master of Science in Development Disorders and Clinical Practice. Master of Science in Psychology.
It is my enormous pleasure to introduce Roshani Saroj, our student orator, who will speak on behalf of the class of 2021. Our student orators have been invited to speak in recognition of their hard work on behalf of the student community and commitment to their studies. Our speakers have both pursued the most enriching experience they could during their time at York, as well as giving back to their community. On behalf of the class of 2021, I give you Roshani Saroj.
On behalf of all the graduands, I, Roshani, welcome you all to the graduation ceremony of 2021. I'm quite sure that most of you would be like, is this really graduation? Usually when we hear the word graduation, we imagine ourselves all dressed up in the official gowns, our names being called up on stage, applauded by the audience that includes our families, friends, professors, classmates. But instead of gathering at Central Hall, here we all are sitting in front of our mobile, TV, laptop screens to celebrate this day. I do really wish those things could be true, but that is life, right? Nothing without obstacles. Only this time, life created the same obstacle for each of us. In fact, for the whole world to face, and that is coronavirus. I studied engineering management, And during that, I studied quite about the strategies, management, marketing of technology. And then one day, this thought occurred to me. What if the pandemic had occurred during a time when technology was not present? Difficult to imagine, right? The year of 2020 without technology. It would have meant no communication between the people and the families stuck in lockdown. It would also have meant that we wouldn't be able to attend this virtual graduation ceremony. We are able to graduate on time because of it. Well, technology is just one aspect, one example of what innovation is capable of doing. But the innovation is not only limited to technology, it is widespread across wide fields of business, art, medicine, etc. We, the youth, have to ensure that the world continues to strive for innovation because you never know what it may hold for the future. As a student orator, it is my responsibility to represent every student graduate, which is why I would like to acknowledge all those people who made it possible not only for me, but for all of us. Most of us traveled to our homes, whether it was from one city to another or to another country. One thing is definite, that working or studying from home is not easy. So, to all the families out there, thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for understanding that even though we were there with you, we could not give you support or time while we were occupied with our very own submissions. I would also like to express gratitude to our professors and faculty members. Well, during these unprecedented times, they had their own hurdles to face, but they ensured that we did not face any. They made sure that all the teaching materials reached to us on time. They also made sure that all our queries were addressed in time. Thank you. I would also like to use one of the famous quotes of John Maxwell Edmonds and pay tribute to all the frontline warriors across the world today through this platform. And I would like to say that thank you. Thank you for giving your past 1 year and the coming days so that we could live safely in our homes and concentrate work towards our future. A big shout out to all the international postgraduate students because they get only 1 year to adjust in a new country, new syllabus, new people, and then the crisis. I encountered several people who told me, what a pity that you had to study during these times. But the batch that is graduating today is a special one. Why? The students before us, they might have been the first ones to graduate online. And the students after us, they kind of knew what exactly was out there in front of them. But the COVID-19 struck right when we were there. And being unprepared is not easy. It is always difficult than being prepared. Concentrating on the studies while the whole world is suffering and going through the pandemic was immensely difficult. All of us have shown what it is to be resilient. So, class of 2021, congratulations and all the very best for your future endeavors.
We are honoured today by the presence of Professor Nancy Canwisher, and I'm pleased to present Dr. David Pitcher of the Department of Psychology, who will pay tribute to Professor Canwisher.
It's a huge privilege to present our honorary graduand, Professor Nancy Canwisher from the Department of Brain and Cognitive Sciences at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Nancy's scientific impact is apparent in her publication record. She has published over 200 scientific papers that have attracted over 58,000 citations. She has received numerous prizes, including the National Academy of Sciences Trolland Award, the NIH Pioneer Award, and the Golden Brain Award. She was elected to the National Academy of Sciences in 2005, to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 2009, and as a corresponding fellow of the British Academy in 2017. Nancy's research investigates the fundamental functions and organization of the human brain. She is most widely identified with the proposal that specific parts of the brain perform specific cognitive functions. Her work in this area is most clearly demonstrated in her 1997 landmark paper in which she identified an area of the brain that selectively processes faces. This paper has been cited nearly 8,000 times and is the most cited paper in the history of the Journal of Neuroscience. Using the same experimental techniques, Nancy went on to identify other brain areas that selectively process scenes and bodies, and a brain area that is active when we want to understand what someone else is thinking. The University of York is a centre of excellence for research in face recognition and functional brain imaging, and the Department of Psychology houses many scientists who have been directly influenced by Nancy's work. We all owe her a considerable debt of gratitude for the work she has done and for the clarity of her exposition. A hallmark of Nancy's approach has been a willingness to subject her own ideas, indeed the ones that formed the bedrock of her career, to continuous testing and retesting. Nancy teaches her students the fundamental importance of scientific rigor and that wanting an idea to be true doesn't make it true. Nancy was not only willing but eager to subject her scientific contributions to increasingly rigorous tests. Today, when we are becoming ever more reliant on the power of science to address societal problems, this is unquestionably a model that all of us would do well to follow. Nancy's remarkable scientific achievements stand alongside her extraordinarily successful history of mentoring psychological scientists. Nancy has trained almost 50 doctoral students and postdocs, with many going on to successful scientific careers themselves. Nancy has a unique mentoring style. She is first and foremost a model scientist. Her intellectual curiosity, passion, and devotion are contagious. Those of us fortunate enough to join her lab found ourselves immersed in an active and thriving environment that made us want to be better communicators, better at understanding complex ideas, better at designing experiments that addressed fundamental and important questions, and ultimately better scientists. So, Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor, it is with great pleasure that I present Professor Nancy Kanwisher for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Through the power vested in me by the University of York, I have great pleasure in conferring upon Nancy Kanwisher the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Thank you so very much, David. I'm deeply honored to receive this honorary doctorate, which I accept on behalf not just of myself, but of the many outstanding students and postdocs who I've had the great privilege to work with during my scientific career, very much including you, David. It's a particular honor to receive this award from the University of York, where many of the luminaries of my own field are based. This includes not only David himself, but scientific leaders like Andy Young and Mike Burton, who are publishing the seminal papers on face recognition long before I got into the field, and Steve Tipper, who discovered the fascinating phenomenon of negative priming that inspired me and countless others to work on visual attention. But most importantly, I'd like to offer my congratulations to this year's graduates of the University of York. But what a time to be graduating. You're entering a world where a raging pandemic has already infected tens of millions of people and killed over 1 million human beings, where the likelihood is ever increasing that our planet may be irrevocably damaged by climate change, where the searing inequality of opportunity among our fellow human beings means that most do not have the privilege of the top-notch education you have all just received. So in addition to my congratulations, I want to offer my deepest apologies for the mess that my generation has left you. All of this happened on our watch. At the same time, though I don't at all think this gets my generation off the hook, the extraordinary challenges we now face are also extraordinary opportunities for each of you to have a major impact. You can work to phase out fossil fuels by developing new renewable energy technologies. You can run for office and fight for racial and economic justice. You can create beautiful art, music, or literature that lifts people's spirits. You can develop treatments for diseases. You can discover new things about the cosmos or the brain that blow people's minds. You can also, by the way, have a very big impact at a local level. Personally, I feel that one of the most important things I've done in the last decade is to call my mom every day in the final years of her life. Beyond all these aspirations, the grand and the small, lies a common driving force, and that is compassion for our fellow human beings. And I want to briefly share an important insight from my field of psychology that I think can help us all expand our compassion. And that is that many of the differences in our life outcomes are just due to raw, dumb luck. Psychologists have shown that we tend to overinterpret randomness, seeing structure and inventing causal stories in what are basically just series of coin flips. Once we realize how prone we all are to seeing structure and cause where there is none, we can derive a few consequences. First and foremost, it means that other people are not so different from us. They're just different rolls of the same dice. Just societies recognize the deep inequities of random chance and compensate by spreading privilege and opportunity more evenly across the human family. It also means that we should spend less time congratulating ourselves for our successes and blaming ourselves for our failures. And to bring this out of the abstract, let me mention a few rolls of the dice that have landed me here today. First, my dad was a scientist, and my first publication was co-authored with him when I was barely out of college. From an early age, I had a front row seat on the thrill of a life in science, watching him work on whatever struck his fancy, setting off to the Arctic and Africa and the Amazon. My decision to pursue a career in science was not a courageous or innovative leap, but a gift of circumstance. Then in grad school, my luck turned for a few years, and I conducted experiment after experiment that just failed. In hindsight, they were perfectly reasonable experiments. I was just unlucky, fiddling with tiny effects that could come and go if you breathed on them. But at the time, I felt like a complete and total failure. And 3 times, I tried to just drop out of grad school. Which brings me to probably the greatest luck of my whole career. And that was to have the amazing and pioneering cognitive psychologist, Molly Potter, as my mentor. Molly calmly talked me out of quitting grad school again and again, with more patience than anyone can reasonably expect of an advisor. I'll spare you the many other flips of the coin in my life and just say that a lot of my success came from just turning up a lot of heads. So what do we do with this insight that much of luck and much of life is just raw, dumb luck? Well, first, when things are looking bleak, don't fault yourself too much. Wait long enough in any run of tails, and you're sure to turn up ahead. Second, be kind to others who are just down on their luck. That could be you next. And third, of course, luck is not enough on its own. You were all handed a great opportunity to attend the University of York, but you also worked very, very hard to get where you are today. So keep an eye out for each lucky opportunity. And when you see it, grab it and run with it. And don't forget to call your mom. Thank you.
I now have the pleasure of introducing Professor Charlie Jeffrey, Vice Chancellor and President.
Hello there. I have 2 main tasks in this speech. First of all, I have the honour in this special online ceremony formally to award your degrees. So here goes. It's my honour today to confer awards on all graduands from the Faculty of Sciences. That makes you graduates of the university, which brings me to my second task. I have the pleasure of congratulating you on your graduation from the University of York. Graduation ceremonies are perhaps the most special part of my job. They mark the creativity, the energy, the passion, and the sheer hard work that you, our graduates, have put into your studies. This year, they mark something else too. Your resilience and determination. It's not been easy since last March with all the changes you've had to deal with in learning, revising and assessment as we've followed the many twists and turns of government guidance during the pandemic. You rose to that challenge. I salute you for that and for all the efforts you've made in doing so. Let me say on behalf of all my colleagues how proud of you we are. I'm sure your family and friends are too. Normally at this point in Central Hall, I would call on both my colleagues and your family and friends to summon up a raucous round of applause. So I hope that wherever you are now engulfed by claps, cheers, whoops, and hollers of congratulation. I hope that behind me you can make out a little of our campus, the lawn, the pond, and the extraordinary yew trees that comprise the quiet place behind Heslington Hall. 60 years ago, there was no university here. But your university is already regarded as one of the UK's best and has an outstanding reputation worldwide. All the measures we routinely use on quality of teaching, excellence of research, prospects of graduates, economic impact, confirm that strength, that reputation, that quality. That quality has a lot to do with our values. Our founders set up the university for public good. Our students were not just to be technically proficient in their fields, but also to be able to apply their learning for the benefit of our society in the UK and internationally. And our research was intended not just to open up new knowledge, but also to apply that knowledge with and through its students for, I quote, the amelioration of human life and conditions, or in other words, for public good. What do those values mean for you, our graduates? Let me answer that question by recalling a conversation I had a while ago with a group of leading figures from across the public and private sectors. The conversation was about what qualities they felt our graduates should have in an era of rapid technological change. The consensus was that while technical skills to work with new technologies were important, they were in the end temporary because technology will move on, and therefore secondary. What was more important was the ability to adapt, to apply critical thinking to new challenges, to collaborate, to be comfortable in different settings, public or private sector, in different places, different cultures. What we want from your graduates, one of them summed up, is wisdom. Wisdom. The ability to think and act using knowledge, experience, understanding, and insight. You, some of the graduates we were imagining in that conversation, do not graduate only with proficiency in your subjects. You graduate also with the building blocks of that wisdom. You are, as the motto at the foot of the university crest suggests, at the threshold of wisdom. You graduate from a university which brings together students from a wide array of academic disciplines, all with an eye on the public good that their knowledge can contribute to. As a result, you will have encountered different ways of understanding the world around us and what you can do to help it flourish in future. And you will have got to know fellow students from all over that world. Our students hail from over 140 countries. We're a meeting place for students, local and international, to exchange the ideas, experiences and values they bring with them from different parts of the world. That exchange between students from different backgrounds and different places happens during study, but also beyond it. We're fortunate through our students' unions to have the richest variety of student societies and activities of any university in the UK. We cater for pretty much any shared interest you could imagine. I've been both astounded and proud of how our societies have adapted during the pandemic to enable students to continue sharing those interests. And many of those shared interests look outward to address challenges our society faces, whether through community volunteering in and around York, campaigning on the crucial issues of our time like climate change, or building international understanding. The breadth of perspective that comes from being part of such a multidisciplinary, global and socially committed community is an asset that you, our graduates, will take with you as you develop your careers, and it will also be an asset for the organisations you go on to work for. That breadth of perspective nurtures wisdom, and that in turn becomes a powerful platform for public good. All that, in this most extraordinary of years, is all the more important. The pandemic we're living through has had a terrible impact on our health, on our economies, on the education of our young people. Many of those impacts have sharpened existing inequalities, both within countries and between richer and poorer parts of the world. We face, as a result, an enormous challenge of recovery and renewal. You will be central to that challenge. As you set out to meet it, we want to hear from you. We look forward to hearing about the ways in which you use the skills you've developed through your degrees, but also the wisdom you've built through your wider experience here at York. We look forward to hearing about how you use that wisdom to build your own careers, but also to make your contribution to our founding principle, the amelioration of human life and conditions. We look forward to hearing about your contribution to the public good that's a special feature of being part of our community at the University of York. Please keep in touch. If this were a standard graduation ceremony, I would now be calling on you, our graduates, to clap, cheer, whoop and holler for two groups of people. First, staff at our university, lecturers of course, but also everyone else who's supported you in your time at York. Departmental staff, librarians, cleaners, our counselling team and many more. And second, your family and friends. I suspect they may have helped you from time to time during your period here at the university, providing advice, companionship, the occasional shoulder to cry on, laundry services, and no doubt, a little bit of money here and there. So graduates, wherever you are, will you raise the roof for our staff here at the university and for your family, friends and supporters? Thank you. As I close, I will make a commitment to you. We will invite you and your family and friends back, when it's possible to do so, to celebrate your graduation in person, in full academic dress, in our magnificent Central Hall. I look forward very much to that day. Until then, I wish you every happiness and success as you enter the next phase in your lives. And I'm delighted we now have two distinguished honorary graduates from a few years ago to add their thoughts on the next phase of your lives to those you heard earlier from the remarkable Professor Nancy Canwisher. Orla Guerin, the BBC's distinguished foreign correspondent, and the acclaimed author and screenwriter Anthony Horowitz. Goodbye from me.
Hello from Istanbul. I would like to send warm wishes and congratulations to the graduands, their teachers, families and friends, everyone who has had to put up with them along the way. Today's celebrations are taking place remotely, and if anything, that should be a badge of honour. Your success should be all the sweeter because of the extraordinary obstacles you have overcome. You have all scored top marks for resilience. Hopefully for you and for all of us, the worst is behind us. We have vaccines coming our way, but life will not be as it was before, and perhaps it shouldn't be. COVID-19 has taught us some things we need to remember. The value of human contact, the importance of looking out for each other, the huge impact of small gestures of kindness. From Wuhan to New York, from Sao Paulo to Stockholm, we have been reminded that we are interconnected. For better or worse, we leave an imprint on the lives of others. Hopefully, we won't forget this when the threat has receded. I started working as a journalist more than 30 years ago. Since then, I have reported from over 70 countries. I have seen revolutions and attempted coups, the collapse of totalitarian regimes and the birth of democracies. I have also spent some time sleeping on floors and freezing on front lines. I look back and I can't quite fathom how all this came to pass, but I can now reveal exclusively that I didn't have a grand plan. I just found something I loved and I kept putting one foot in front of the other. I hope the same will be true for you. I know that many industries have been hit hard by the pandemic and some of the old jobs will not return. But there's also new flexibility in the world of work, new ways of thinking, and hopefully new opportunities to come. And even in the darkest moments, there can be hope. The era of COVID-19 is also the era of Captain Sir Tom Moore. I was based in Pakistan in 2012 when Taliban militants attacked a brave young education campaigner called Malala Yousafzai, shooting her in the head. As you will know, she survived against all odds, and last June she graduated from Oxford. On her 16th birthday, Malala delivered a spellbinding address to the United Nations. The young woman, who would not be silenced, said this: "One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. Your pen, your actions, your voice can have a massive impact. I hope this is something you will carry forward into the next chapter of your lives, especially as graduates of the University of York with its commitment to the public good. My message is, don't let anyone limit your ambitions. Don't let anyone tell you something is out of reach." I would like to leave you with the wonderful words of the Irish poet Derek Mahon, who died last October as the virus was raging around the globe. "I lie here in a riot of sunlight, watching the day break and the clouds flying. Everything is going to be all right."
Hello, my name is Anthony Horowitz. I'm an author and a screenwriter, and I was at York University back in the 70s, where after a career that wasn't entirely successful, I must be honest, I somehow ended up being made a doctor of the university some years later, an achievement of which I am, I have to say, very proud. And so I've been asked to say a few words today at your graduation ceremony. I suppose I meant to say that actually it's not so bad, and, you know, we can all put up with Zoom and it's, you know, all the rest of it. But actually, the truth is that it is complete rubbish, really, and this has been, without any doubt, the worst year of my life, 2020. I mean, let's just set aside COVID for a minute. This has been a year of Trump. I mean, he's still there, for heaven's sake, and Boris Johnson, whose government is in all sorts of difficulties at the moment, and Dominic Cummings, and Sean Connery, for heaven's sake, losing Sean Connery. I mean, that was the pits as far as I was concerned, and looking out the window, the streets are empty and it's raining, and anyway, oh no, I must get back to trying to be celebratory, because we have got to somehow look on the bright side of things, I suppose, and you have had 3 years at probably one of the greatest universities in the whole country, really. You are one of the privileged few, and you do have an awful lot going for you on your side, quite apart from the education you've been given and the time you've had to develop your ideas and your future and your careers. You've got youth on your side, you've got hopefully a lot of optimism, and the world around you is changing in so many fantastic ways. I mean, all the new inventions that are going to come in, which you will enjoy and which I won't. I mean, actually, it quite annoys me, really. I think about things like drones and travel pods and exoskeletons and hydrocell technology. The whole idea that maybe we're going to move into a carbon zero environment during your lifetime, but not during mine. And of course, the biggest invention of all right now, the vaccine. And that's what I really want to talk about. Professor Umar Sahin and Dr. Özlem Türeci. I probably mispronounced those names horribly, but those are the two brilliant people who have invented the vaccine that could save the world. And when I think that their parents were Turkish immigrants who came into Germany in the 60s, and they began with less than any of you have, and they have just saved the world. And they set up a company called Ganymede. And Ganymede is not named after the pretty boy who turns up in Greek mythology. Ganymede is apparently the Turkish word, which means sort of earned through hard work. And there you get to the moral of this speech, which is, you have earned through your hard work a phenomenal and fantastic future. And if I have one belief in this world, it is that my generation, which has to a large extent screwed everything up, is now going to step aside, and it is graduates like you who will come through and make this world so much a better place. So good luck to you. Have a great day today on your graduation. Celebrate with your friends, legally, of course, or however you want to, but you deserve your success. Enjoy it and keep going forward. Thanks.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We hope you enjoyed the event and that you enjoy the rest of the day. Whether you're celebrating with family or joining one of the department digital events that many of our academic departments will be hosting shortly. Thank you.